I'm too cheap to buy a new headboard, so reupholster this one with me. Here's the end result. Let me show you how I did it. So don't judge my light. Taking this photo as my inspiration, I got to work. I took the legs off, then I got a few scrap boards. I actually added a little extra height so that the headboard would be taller. Since I was making the headboard taller, I didn't want there to be a big space where it was supposed to meet the mattress. So I added a board with pocket screws. I started with the board by adding a few extra layers of batting to make sure it was the same thickness as the headboard. I stapled it all down, and then I covered it all with one piece of batting to hold it all together. Then I added a second layer of batting to make it more fluffy and kind of smooth it all together. Then it was time to work on the wings. I screwed in wood scraps to make an L shape so that I'd have something to attach on the back side of the headboard. Then I added 2 layers of batting to the wing only, not to the L to attach to the headboard. You can see I originally just made a little template with the first layer, and then I cut a second layer with that template. So at the top of the board that was going to be facing the ceiling, I then took a little piece of batting and covered the top so that would also be fluffy. And then I folded over the top of the wing batting and stapled those layers down together. Keep in mind when you're stapling, you want them kind of hidden so that you're not puckering the batting too much, because you might be able to see that through the fabric. So now that I had the batting done, now it was time to put the fabric on top. So the main thing here is that you want to make sure it's pulled very tight. Just using a heavy duty stapler to staple down the sides and the bottom, not the top yet, because we're going to do the top at the end. On the sides and corners, I cut off some of the extra fabric so that when I went to attach the wings, it wasn't too bulky and the corners would look nice and neat. Covering the wings, again, I started with the top that was facing the ceiling. I cut off a small strip of fabric to cover the top. I stapled it on. Then I folded the top edge of the wing fabric so that it was a finished edge before I folded it over the entire wing and stapled it down. Now I pulled it really tight and only stapled in the inside edge of the L and on the back so that you could not see any staples. So this is what it looks like when it's done. Now, so you can see where in the middle of the top on the left side, that's where I had to staple down that top piece, and it's a little puckered. So you want to make sure that you're very, very careful about where you're putting staples. But overall, when you're far away, you can't even tell that there's this extra piece of fabric, but it looks still neat and tidy when the fabric is folded over like that with a finished edge. Now it's time to attach the L-shaped wing to the headboard. So I flipped off the fabric on the top where it wasn't attached so that I could connect the whole wing. And then once I got the L screwed into the headboard, then I folded the unattached fabric back over the top and then made some adjustments to the corners that you can see here. I cut off the extra fabric so it wasn't bulky, and then I stapled it all down. Now remember, you want to pull this fabric tight, however you don't want it to pucker, so be slow and cautious when you're stapling so you're not pulling it too tight and making puckers. So that's it, and here's the end result in our bedroom. You push the mattress against it, it's nice and sturdy.